Hello, welcome to round 9 of the Season 2 2002 GPRO Formula 1 Championship that I keep forgetting the name of here at the lovely Hour Park Circuit here in Melbourne, Australia. We had a couple of weeks break, about 2 weeks break, but we're back ready to race here. It's a Jaguar 1-2 with the Arrows 3 and 4, and we are away. Looks like it's a very good start for one of the Arrows, but both of the Jaguars cut both the Arrows off, and it looks like there might be a pass for 4th place between the Toyota, and that's Alonso and Ralf Schumacher going side by side. Looks like Ralf Schumacher might lose out. Very slow motion of all 20 cars coming down towards the first corner. Pedro Diniz is currently at the back of the grid. All of them already single filed line, and Bertie keeps hard to the lead. Got De La Rosa is second, Frentzen third, fourth is Alonso, and 5th place is Ralf Schumacher. It looks like Alonso hasn't finished there. He might be able to pass Frentzen, but Frentzen covers the inside line and is left into 4th place is Alonso as we go back onto the lead of Bertie and Jaguar. Pedro De La Rosa is in 2nd place. And there is Frentzen in 3rd place for the Arrows. Alonso in 4th place for the Toyota. Currently, the highest placed Toyota, Ralf Schumacher. Disappointing start again by one of the Arrows. He's lost 1 position this time. Instead of losing pole position, he's lost 4th place. But the Jaguars might storm away with the win. It's a 24 lap race here at the Albert Park Circuit. They're doing about 1 minute 29, 1 minute 30s, I believe. So we're probably going to be here for the next 35 minutes, listening to my beautiful voice, as you all very well love. But they haven't even finished the first lap. There's Jean-Alesi Renault in the 16th position, with Mark Webber 17th, Mika Hakkinen 18th. Young 19th in the Minardi, and 20th place being occupied by Sato. Both of the Minardis occupying the last 2 positions as usual. Alesi tries to go down the inside of Diniz, who we saw at the start he was in 20th place, so he's managed to pass 5 cars down the inside. That's a very good start for Pedro Diniz in the BAR. But now he's sort of holding everyone up behind of Alesi, Webber, Hakkinen and the Minardis. Probably not the Minardis, because the Minardis are quite slow. They are the backmarker team this season. Bertie, De La Rosa still 1 and 2, controlling the race as they were doing ever so well in season 1. And down towards the second to last turn, and down the third to last turn. And down to turn 15, the hairpin, and into the pits. Into the pits goes Bertie. Now is that scheduled? I'll be shocked if it's scheduled, but Bertie into the pits. It's changing all 4 tyres and refueling, so the nozzle's off. The tyres have been changed, and the way he goes, I don't even know where he's going to end up. He's going to end up but in the Diniz train. He's managed to keep ahead of Young and Sato. So 3 second. I can only think that must be scheduled, because that just seems odd that he's pitted that early, but we'll see what happens throughout the race. We go back on board with the Sauber of Webber, trying to pass Diniz and Alesi. And we go back on board with Alesi, trying to go past Diniz. He looks down the inside, but Diniz keeps hold of the inside line, going through turns 9 and 10, and keeps hold of the position. There's De La Rosa first place currently. Frentzen behind De La Rosa in second in the Arrows. And round first and second corner. Do 128 is De La Rosa. Frentzen is about half a second behind in the Arrows. There's Alonso in third place in the Toyota. And there is Schumacher fourth place. There's Barrichello fifth place, currently in the Ferrari. And Coulthard is in sixth place in the McLaren. Trying to keep up with the leaders. It's a very high scoring from McLaren at the moment. Not had a rather lacklustre season so far this season. There's Button, 8th place. After that shock win, they've not really been anywhere at all this season, the Jordan team. They've got both cars in the points at the moment. Michael Schumacher's splitting the two Jordans at the moment. Fisichella is always one of them drivers that you have to watch out for. He always sneaks into the points, gets a good points all usually. Raikkonen 12th place in the Sauber, 13th place is currently Panis in the BAR. 14th place is Diniz, 15th place was trying to be a lunge from a lazy, but again Diniz holding his ground right there. And the Jaguars of Bertie is probably going to end up in this train because it's going to be a good 3 to 4 seconds quicker than these lot. And I think I just saw his name tag there. It looks to have already hit the back of them. But of course there's going to be no chances to overtake because De La Rosa is coming out of the pits. He's had certainly there must be scheduled pit stops for the Jaguar team since De La Rosa's already also pitted as well. But De La Rosa has gotten the better of it because he's now in front of Panis and Diniz, and Bertie is nowhere to be seen. He's still trying to pass Hakkinen in the McLaren. That's how far back Bertie is compared to his teammates. Our Park, famed for its very hard overtaking. There's not many places where you can send one down the inside. The two long straights are both occupied by quick corners. Not really a slow corner anywhere for people to outbrake each other apart from at turn 3. But the corner's that tight, there's usually only one line in and out of it, especially when you got turn 4 coming up at the next part of that corner. As a lazy is still heckling Diniz, trying to pass the Brazilian at any opportunity, but alas, Diniz holds its ground and Alesi is still stuck, but not as stuck as this person here. Luciano Berti in the Jaguar, stuck behind Hakkinen, but we do have an Arrows leading this race currently in the form of Heinz-Harald Frentzen. Arrows have not won a single race in these first 8 races, yet are leading the title by quite a number of points to Jaguar. There's Toyota in second place with Alonso. Now Schumacher is currently in third place. It's currently looking like a very good haul of points for Arrows, especially compared to the Jaguar team who are currently not scoring, but they're surely going to score. Even though they look to be free stopping, they're surely going to score. Barrichello fourth place in the Ferrari, quite close to Ralf Schumacher. It depends if Barrichello is overcutting Ralf Schumacher or not. I'm not sure how powerful the overcut is in Australia. Depends on if you get stuck in traffic, I suppose. If you don't get stuck in traffic, then I suppose you won't suffer any consequences. There was a huge gap between the two BARs that people could go into to not suffer, but then there was a midfield battle in front of Panis, so it pretty much looked at a draw, as we were expecting the first round of pit stops for the 2 stoppers between lap 7 to lap 9, I reckon. Any of them will manage to survive till the end on fuel. It's very tight fuel allocation for the two stoppers. And there's Trulli quite far down. He's 12 seconds back in 9th place. There's a huge pocket of air that people can fall into if they have enough of a gap, which I'm not sure if they do or not. Raikkonen is holding up Della Rosa at the moment, who's currently 2 tenths down. There is Della Rosa, and Raikkonen is holding his ground. Della Rosa might lose out significantly, as that is Frentzen going into the pits for his first stop of the afternoon. Negotiating this awkward pit lane, the chicane. Ralf Schumacher takes the lead of the race, meaning that Alonso is also pitted. So has Barrichello. And is it going to be a nice clean stop for Frentzen? Yes, he is. He's going to get in front of Button, which is key. Now, where is Frentzen going to come out in accordance to the rest of the field? He's got a lot of clear air, does Frentzen. So does Alonso. No, he doesn't. Alonso is in front of Trulli. And Della Rosa has actually overtook Raikkonen going into turn 1 as the first overtake we've seen outside of the start. So well done to Della Rosa. But Frentzen is in a brilliant position at the moment. He's managed to get back into the lead. Not the lead. Is the lead car on track of the pitters. Managed to jump Pedro Della Rosa, which is quite remarkable. There is Salo and Coulthard lying astern at the moment. Coulthard is 2nd place at the moment, but of course yet to make a pit stop. But out in front is the Arrows of Ralf Schumacher, and that was Williams, who were Williams. Young is into the pits now for the Minardi. There is Hackden, looks like he's already made his pit stop and just come out of the pit. Sato in 18th place. Panis obviously has made a pit stop as well. Bertie is still behind people. He's behind Fisichella at the moment. So he hasn't actually lost too much time to his teammate, as Ralf Schumacher going into the pits and coming out. Where is he going to be compared to Alonso and Frentzen? Limiter comes off now, and Frentzen is leading. But it is Ralf Schumacher in 2nd place. It's currently in Arrows 1-2 as Della Rosa does 1 on Alonso. So Alonso currently losing position to Pedro Della Rosa, but Della Rosa's gamble hasn't paid off, as it is a Arrows 1-2 at the moment. Button 10th place in the Jordan. Quite far back at the moment. It is Coulthard leading still from the McLaren. He's yet to make a pit stop. Schumacher as well, yet to make a pit stop in the Ferrari. Both of these obviously are going to go into the pits at the end of this lap. And I presume it's the 2 Arrows of Frentzen and Ralf Schumacher 3rd and 4th. With 5th place being Della Rosa and Alonso being in 6th place at the moment. And there is Coulthard into the pits for his first of 2 stops at the moment. Again, negotiating the awkward pit lane. And he's got to find his black pit crew, intimidated pit crew for the rest of the teams. Well, all dark grey really. Michael Schumacher's an easier time with the fluorescent red kit. It's a 6.7 second stop for Coulthard. He's going to come out just behind Barrichello as Salo and Schumacher go to battle, but Salo has the line, has the speed, and manages to get in front of Michael Schumacher before he leaves the pits, as we are on lap 10 at the moment. There's Coulthard directly in front of Salo. Salo couldn't carry the speed to pass Coulthard, and Coulthard slots into 6th place in the McLaren. Barrichello 5th place at the moment. Bertie has lost a heck of a lot of time. He's nowhere to be seen at all. Alonso 4th place. De La Rosa trying his best to catch up to the 2 Arrows. In 3rd place for the Jaguar. Trying to catch up to Ralf Schumacher in the Arrows, who's losing time to Frentzen in the lead. There is Ralf Schumacher. He can see his teammate in front of him. And there's Frentzen going around turn 15. Currently controlling this race now. Round turn 60 down the front straight, sorry, not the back straight. And 128.5 lap that was. As we have a replay of Coulthard and Salo battling. And Coulthard has been pitched into a spin by Salo, and Schumacher has crashed into the side of Coulthard. There's a little bit of damage, I presume it's from the Ferrari front wing, but not too much damage to force Schumacher into a pit stop. There is Button in the Jordan directly behind. Couldn't capitalise on Salo barging Coulthard out of the way. It was a bit naughty by Salo, but he's got past it nonetheless. 9th place, Jordan Button. Kimi Raikkonen currently in 10th place. He has made a pit stop and has managed to slot back into 10th place. That's quite something, but Raikkonen probably needs to stop again. As Bertie, there's Bertie. This is what happens when you pit on lap 2. You get held behind all the slow moving cars, and then you all of a sudden end up being in the middle of nowhere. It's going to be quite the lonely day for Bertie. Currently in 15th place. He's got quite a lot of clear air, to be honest, but he's got to find some way out of this. He's got to find some way of salvaging the 1 or 2 points that he might get. I believe that Bertie was second or third place in the championship, so he's going to lose a whole heap of points to the Arrows. Trulli in 11th place in the Jordan, 10th place in front is Raikkonen. All these need to stop again though. Webber's done good in 12th place. There's Button 9th place in the other of the Jordans, currently scoring 2 points at the moment. Michael Schumacher 8th place in the Ferrari. Coulthard is totally in front. 0.8 seconds is the gap between Coulthard and Michael Schumacher. Coulthard in 7th place for the McLaren. 4 seconds now is behind Salo, so he's lost a whole heap of time. Barrichello 5th place for the Ferrari. And directly in front is Alonso in the Toyota. De La Rosa is still trying to catch up to Ralf Schumacher. He looks like he might have caught... He hasn't caught the back of him at the moment. But there is Ralf Schumacher currently 3 seconds behind Heinz-Harald Frentzen. Storming away into the lead. He's about to come up to a lapped car of... who is not lapped yet. Back marker of Alex Young, the Malaysian in the Minardi. Trundling along in the Minardi towards 10:15. It might be an easy overtake, and that is Alonso. Oh no, that's both the Toyotas crashing into each other. Oh no, that's Coulthard crashing into the back of Salo. Quite a lot of damage. Coulthard is also out, 2 wheels off of his car. That's not very good. And Salo just didn't avoid Salo. Unsighted by the smoke, who knows, but that was very clumsy by Salo, and that's both the Toyotas out and Coulthard. There's the blow up from Alonso. Barrichello managed to avoid Alonso well, but Salo just ploughed straight into the back of him, which was weird. Coulthard couldn't avoid it either, but Schumacher and Button both managed to avoid it. How close was Schumacher to catching the back of Coulthard? There's 3 wheels flying, and it was Michael Schumacher that have made Coulthard lose his rear tyre. Michael Schumacher has come away scot-free somehow from all of that. And that was very, very clumsy there by the top three. Not really even the top three, it was 5th, 6th, 7th, I think. No, 4th. Well, Alonso had an engine failure, but Salo could have avoided him, and Coulthard was pretty much unsighted by the fact that Salo ploughed straight into the back of his teammate. Anywho, that's Frentzen in the lead. This is Ralf Schumacher in second place. Still the Arrows 1-2. They've both dispatched Young fairly easily. Barrichello's now inherited third place from Alonso. Michael Schumacher's inherited fourth. It's currently a Ferrari third and fourth place. Button is currently fifth place in the Jordan. Always picking up the small pointage Jordan, capitalising on everyone's misfortune. De La Rosa, after his second pit stop, is in sixth place for the Jaguar, but he's got so much time to pick up to try and get in front of them Arrows. Seventh place in the Sauber is Raikkonen. Eighth place Trulli. Ninth place is Webber at the moment. And Fisichella, I told you to look out for Fisichella. Told you to look out. He's gonna get a few minor points, Fisichella, and he will get them few minor points. He's currently in 10th place, but probably has Bertie for company. In fact, no, he doesn't, because Bertie is behind Panis as well, it looks like. So he's going to get blocked by Panis, as there is the pit stop for the Sauber. Change of all 4 tyres and refueled probably till the end. 8.2 second pit stop for the Sauber. Mark Webber, that's his only pit stop that he needs to worry about. He's only 7 seconds behind Bertie as Frentzen goes into the pits for the Arrows. His second pit of the afternoon. Now, will he make it to the end? It might be quite the ask to make it to the end at this rate. So he might have to make another pit stop, but he should. He's going to come out in third place currently. No, he's going to be fourth. He's going to be behind Michael Schumacher, only just. But crucially, still ahead of De La Rosa, who's also going to be free stopping. Fourth place for Frentzen. So if Frentzen is going to be free stopping with Pedro De La Rosa, he's going to be ahead of him pretty much. There is Ralf Schumacher. He's got quite a little bit of traffic to negotiate. Sato, Hakkinen and Lazy all directly in front of him. It depends on where he's going to catch up to them as we go back on board with the 2 Toyota who are in the Garage of Shame. Coulthard, we'll call it the second Garage of Shame. Young 17th place, Michael Schumacher directly behind. Sato is in 16th place. Diniz is also in that traffic, and that is Frentzen slowing down. Frentzen is crawling to a stop, it looks like. Might be gearbox. Might be a gearbox issue. Frentzen controlling the race at the front, but alas, it just wasn't to be for Frentzen. He's trundling back to the pits, and he's going to become the 4th retirement of this race. It's 1 Arrows out, but of course it's the other Arrows that is currently in the lead. The championship leader, Ralf Schumacher, still in the lead, still yet to make his second pit stop of this race. There is Barrichello coming back out in 4th place. There's Frentzen. He's not having much luck this season. And into the pit garage he goes. There is Trulli trying to get directly behind Button. It's going to be quite the squabble for the 2 Jordan teams. Hopefully nothing happens to the 2 Jordans to make the manager angry, as Jordan of Button is currently in 6th place. And that is Raikkonen in 5th place, but he has yet to make his second pit stop of the afternoon. Barrichello 4th place, he's already made his 2 pit stops. He should make it to the end, I reckon. De La Rosa has managed to get into 3rd place. He might stay in 3rd place or inherit 2nd place. But it looks like it is now Ralf Schumacher's to lose. He's into the pits for what is going to be surely his second and final pit stop of the race. All 4 tyres and away he goes. It's a very clean pit stop. De La Rosa has managed to jump Schumacher, but obviously De La Rosa will have to stop again. Now Ralf Schumacher, surely he's going to get in front of Barrichello. The answer is yes. So the undercut seems to be working quite the charm here at the Australian Grand Prix, which was the complete opposite to, I think, Malaysia, which was completely overrun by the overcut. As we go on board with Michael Schumacher, he's yet to make his second pit stop. But as soon as he does, he'll inherit the lead back to your pole sitter, I believe, was Pedro De La Rosa. Or was it Bertie? I think it was Bertie that was the pole sitter, who we haven't seen much of because he's still outside of the top 10. And probably not going to score many points, I would have thought. And there is the Jordan of Trulli. Bertie in 7th place at the moment, in fact. But he's going to make a pit stop soon, I would have thought. Button, there he is in 6th place. Raikkonen in 5th place at the moment. It's going to be a very good result for Sauber at the moment. 5th place, Raikkonen. 4th place, Barrichello. 3rd place, Schumacher. It looks like it's going to be a very good haul of points for Ferrari as well. There is Michael Schumacher going into the pits for his second pit stop of the afternoon. De La Rosa inherits the lead as 4th. Schumacher 7 seconds back. Barrichello is 1.3 seconds back from Ralf Schumacher. Look at all them cars that Barrichello has to pass now. And away goes Michael Schumacher. 4th place still for the German in the Ferrari. And has nothing to worry about from behind because Button is 2.5 seconds back. He has a little bit of momentum at the moment, does Button, but not too much for Michael Schumacher to worry about. There is Ralf Schumacher, inherited the lead. Well, he's currently in 2nd place, but inherited the lead by Frentzen. Frentzen having gearbox troubles, I presume. He was running very slowly down the back straight. But Frentzen losing quite a few points at the moment, losing a few points for the championship in the teams. But at the moment, we presume that De La Rosa is going to have to stop again. So Ralf Schumacher will inherit the lead again, and he's probably going to lose out 2nd place as well to Barrichello, especially with the fact that Barrichello is right behind Schumacher. I'd have thought he'd finish probably in 3rd place, so De La Rosa is probably going to... Jaguar was going to lose 2 points to Ralf Schumacher, who is looking very, very good to finally getting Arrows' first win of this season. The first win since the Season 2 beta. And I am going to check to see when that last actual race win was, because I think it's been quite a long time since they've won a race. I don't know where they are. They are somewhere, and I'm just blind and can't find it. But alas, we're missing all of these. Sato is currently in 2nd place. De La Rosa is actually directly behind Sato, needing to pass the Minardi. De La Rosa is actually being held up, I reckon, by the slow Sato. Quite naughty by Sato, to be honest, as De La Rosa actually follows Sato in. Amazingly. And there is Diniz and Schumacher fighting, but Schumacher's actually lapping Diniz, so it's not really fighting. And that is Young, that's De La Rosa coming out of the pits. I don't know when their last win was. I'm not looking. So he's still got to pass Sato. He didn't manage to jump him in the pit stops. He came very close, in fact, to losing out to Schumacher. He's only half a tenth behind. We're on lap 20 now. We've got 5 laps to go, including this one. And De La Rosa needs to pass Sato again. In fact, not even again. He needs to pass Sato full stop anyway. Looks like he's going to easily pass Sato around this corner. Schumacher hasn't passed this Minardi. And Schumacher's got to be careful because Button is directly behind the Ferrari. Going to be another cheeky haul of points for Button, you reckon? Could happen for Button. Sato blocking the path for Button. That's very, very naughty of the Japanese driver. Moved from the reserve team of Jordan to Minardi was Sato. There's Raikkonen putting a lap on Young. Or is he? No, Young manages to keep hold of his unlapping of Raikkonen. Raikkonen currently in 6th place is probably going to be his best result so far this season. Inherited 3 positions, of course, from that ludicrous fortunate time of events for him. Fisichella and there's Webber in 9th. Bertie is going to get points, albeit 1 point at the moment, unless he can do a move on Webber, which at the moment isn't seeming likely at this moment in time, especially with the nature of this circuit. De La Rosa is the only driver really that's been passing people, so you'd have thought his Jaguar teammate would find an easy time of it, but he has got a very good run out of that final corner. He's got the inside line going into the first corner, and that was rather silly. That was very, very silly. Webber had the line, Bertie had the inside line. It looked like it might have been a racing incident, but Webber had the line as well going into the second corner, but it's a rather clumsy overtaking attempt, really. As we go back onto the leader, Ralf Schumacher in the Arrows, formerly of the Williams team that went into administration before the start of the season. Jordan was roped in to replace the Williams team after they found the money and funds to fund this season. And Ralf Schumacher has made himself at home at the Arrows. He spent most of the season 1 time developing their season 2 car. The new from right from the get-go, the season 1 was going to be hard, especially with all their funding going into the season 2 beta car. And season 1 was quite a disappointment for the Arrows team, and the Arrows now looking set to finally win a race that they've been threatening to do all season, but have just not quite managed to do so. Ferrari have been one of the standouts of the season after very disappointing season 2 beta, and season 1 they were still quite far behind. They were picking up a few good results, but nothing compared to what they're doing this season now. Ralf Schumacher currently in the lead, Rubens Barrichello in 2nd place, Pedro De La Rosa will be in 3rd place in the Jaguar, who have managed to complete the bounds both the previous 2 seasons, but they were never really challenged. They were slightly challenged in season 1 by the BAR team, who spent all their money trying to get the season 1 championship, got near of them, and now are nowhere to be seen. whereas we have Button going into the pits for the third time this race. Like I said, these fuel tanks were very stretched to do the 24 laps required, but it does look like the Button's not going to lose a position to Raikkonen, so he's managed to get away with that free stop. But it's still 5th place, but he's now 28 seconds behind Michael Schumacher, so it's not a very good 5th place, you'd have thought. Bertie, I wonder who else he's going to try and take out. He's got Fisichella as his next victim, directly in front. 8th place for the Italian. Again, roped into the Renault team, replacing the outbounding Button. And round turn 5, and that's Barrichello pitting from 2nd place. He hasn't had enough fuel to get to the end. That is a lifeline for Pedro de la Rosa, an absolute lifeline, who's managed to get into 2nd place coming into the final lap, so it's only going to be 1 point loss. In fact, Jaguar are going to gain a point from this race because Bertie is currently in 9th place. Schumacher's in fact inherited 3rd place from Barrichello. Barrichello's completely off the podium after not having enough fuel to get to the end. Quite amazing. There is Button in 5th place. He's pretty much now in the middle of nowhere. But it's the story of this race. He started from 4th place. He lost a position at the start to Alonso. He managed to do the overcut. He's made the 2-stop work. Many drivers couldn't make the 2-stop work. But it's going to be Ralf Schumacher in the Arrows to finally win a race this season. It's the first race victory for the Arrows team this season. They've been knocking on the door so much, and they've managed to break the door down. De La Rosa, it's a great free stop strategy from De La Rosa, and he's managed to get into 2nd place. He's 21 seconds back though from them lot. Michael Schumacher finishes in 3rd, 4th place Barrichello, and now there's a huge gap to Button in 5th place for the Jordan. He's got the final 2 corners to negotiate. Hakkinen and Diniz still fighting for the 2 remaining positions. Diniz is going to hold on. There is Button to finish 5th place, 54 seconds back from Ralf Schumacher. It was quite, apart from the fact that most people couldn't make the 2-stop, it was quite a dominant victory in the end. Raikkonen, 6th place for the Sauber, a fantastic achievement for the Sauber. As we have Ralf Schumacher going back into the pits and Parc Fermé. Finally your race winner. Arrows have finally done it. Winning this season. Most people thought it wouldn't happen, but finally he's made it happen. It's a great drive from Ralf Schumacher to win in the Arrows. 21 seconds was the gap in the end. 21.6 seconds gap in the end. To quite the fortunate De La Rosa. He had completely the opposite fortunes to his teammate Bertie. But it was safe to say that the Jaguars, I wouldn't say got it all wrong, but compared to their rival in the Arrows, it just wasn't to be. It looked like it's going to be a 2-horse race for this championship. Between the Arrows and the Jaguar, there's no other team really close enough to challenge for the win. As we look now at the individuals, there was Ralf Schumacher, quite the race he had. De La Rosa, he pitted very early and got fortunate with getting into clear air. There's Michael Schumacher, he had quite the quiet race. He was in 10th place at some point and then managed to get back into 3rd place, being one of the only few drivers to pull off the 2-stop. That was Rubens Barrichello. Very unfortunate race for Rubens Barrichello. Button managed to scrape into 5th place after them 3 cars took each other out. Raikkonen, the ever surprising Sauber team managed to get more points. Jarno Trulli, the other Jordan, good haul of points for the Jordan team. Bertie, there's not much to say about Bertie really. He had a very, very poor race from Bertie's standards. Fizzy Keller managed to get a few points. In fact, Fizzy Keller, I think, looked like he pitted. He didn't act. He managed to get into 10th. He was in 10th place. Bertie actually gained a position from Fizzy Keller, meaning that Jaguar have gained 2 points over Arrows, which puts the championship very close for the teams. That was Hackenden in 14th. I've been missing quite a few of the results, 11th, 12th and 13th. They're not really important. Lazy Sato and Diniz were 11th, 12th and 13th. 14th was Hackenden, 15th Young, 16th first of retirements Panis. Fredson, it looked like he had the race victory in his hands, but it was taken away from him by a gearbox failure. And then we have Coulthard, Salo and Alonso taking each other out. That was the Australian Grand Prix. Thank you ever so much for watching the race, and goodbye.